Não vem nada fundo.
Tô estrefando a esquerda só, tá?
Só sair de dentro do banheiro.
Ficar na esquerda.
Chega.
Fundo é meu, guys. Tem duas smokes só. Um fundo
Muito bem,
marcando.
ali 120 nele.
Caralho.
Tem um fundo aqui, ó. Tá, pede mesmo.
Deixa eu dar, será que eu tenho ult?
我开帘子，
我们一会儿杀了人，我拍左边了，我封烟了。好，后点烟，兄弟们。
加油拉吧！
没有。
来拉开的。
他在黑雾门，他在黑雾门。我想下巴脱包了，可以。我下巴往上脱包了。
爆点后都没有，爆点后都没有。哎，炸弹妹到了，炸弹妹到了。
Verde.
Pode ter comentado. Verde 1. Tá, cravei direita.
Fez uma casa
Pode comer lá, gente.
中后门的死了。
两个点后，你可以躲一下。二度上一个2点后。
Tá, vem comigo esse.
Abre a esquerda junto com a mala sozinha. 3, 2, 1, abre.
Vou fazer metade,
Vou olhar costas, tá?
Não, vem pra você, Elias.
有点了。
Deixa. Boa. Boa bond. Mas... Boa. Banda essa.
Mano, deu um single no cara do meio, velho.
Nossa, amassou ele, Dudu.
An excellent listening there, obviously, with Loud, who are here today, and they're, well, on a mission to be able to prove themselves that they can pull off back-to-back World Championships. But ahead of today's matches, we actually gathered some of the biggest brains together for an IGL roundtable. Here's Sadak, Divide, Boaster, and Boostio. Listen in, and maybe you'll learn something.
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you all. I personally, I would say that one of my favorite things about the game is watching how IGLs work and getting to listen to comms and see mid-rounding and see some of the decision-making that happens on the front end of things. What are you guys giggling already?
Just smiling at me.
This guy is spitting straight lies. We all love the duelists. Five-man
No. And honestly, that's what a lot of people love, but this part of the game is honestly my favorite. So it is a genuine pleasure to get to just chat with you guys for a little bit, pick your brains on IGLing philosophy, leadership philosophy, and really anything else that kind of comes up in conversation. So, Boaster, I want to start with you. What would you say makes a good IGL?
Empathy, I think. So like being able to read your teammates' emotions and try to put yourself, put them first before you. So like just try and make them feel comfortable because they're going to be the ones to carry you. So yeah, that, and then obviously strategy.
Yeah.
Like always work ethic. There's a few, to be fair.
I definitely think empathy too, because when you have teammates like Durka or Demon One, Aspas, something, it is a lot about them dropping 25 kills and making sure they're in the right mindset and putting them in positions, at least for like with me and Demon One and Jaw, putting them in the right positions to get those kills. And even if I have to take a worse fight or hold a worse part of the map, I will call for that reason so that they can get better duels than I can.
How do you guys, or how much value do you place in thinking about like the leadership aspect of managing your team and reading emotions and setting your players up? How much of that takes up your thought as compared to the actual just the strategic side of the game itself?
I would say for me at least it's a huge part, because I have like this really young talent that they really just need to have fun and not feel the pressure that much in a way. So for me it's a huge part to make sure that they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, because if I go too much strategic, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I just want to play the game. So yeah, for me it's that important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the same for us. I think like having something to the team. I think you just kind of like want to roll, like just kind of want to play the game, like don't want to think too much, just kind of want to go in and get some kills, like some highlights, I think that's what like the star players kind of like mindset, So we gotta like, we as the supports player, that kind of like have to make him shine,
Would you guys say the IGL role is generally underappreciated?
Not really.
No.
I think we get a lot.
Yeah, I would say it's not understand fully in a way, right? Like I think people understand it's really important, but they don't understand what an IGL fully does, because I think most of the guys are gonna agree our job is inside the team and mostly outside the team, like things that we don't show to everyone outside, like they say empathy and all these kind of things in particular we don't get to show to people, and that's okay, that's our job in a way, but I think people don't understand that fully. right?
Do you guys agree with that?
100%.
You agree it's pretty
100%.
Because we do get a lot more recognition than like, you know, some of the other support players that are not like these star duelists, but at the same time, people don't really understand why we get that recognition. It's kind of like Sedek.
Exactly.
Because we do so much that people will never see behind the scenes, which is fine, but it's definitely...
People inside know, right?
Yeah.
People inside know, so that's the important part. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean to the public, it's always about the star players, you know, like the duelists, like it's not about the support stuff. But yeah, just like Sarat mentioned, like insides they would know and stuff. But yeah.
What is it like when you're in a series, it's a close series, and you have all of this time that you've prepped, you've gone through everything with your coach and you know what have you, and you're calling in game when the lights are on, when the crowd's going nuts, and nothing is working. In the mind of a caller in an instance like that, your thoughts have to be the loudest thing. What's that like?
I think, I mean, I've been IGN for a while now, and for me when that happens, it's just, it is what it is, you know? You prep, you did everything you could, and everything went downhill. It's just, it happens. There's nothing you can do, just accept it and have fun, to be honest.
So let me ask you this specifically. Let's talk about lock-in finals.
Yeah.
On Icebox.
Yeah.
What was that like?
So when we lost, we were just happy to be in the finals, to be honest. Like we just had 2 people replace on the team at that time. So we were like, oh my God, I can't believe we're here. We just lost an 11-3 comeback. That happens.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we were not mad. We were a little bit sad, of course.
Sure.
But like, they deserve it. We were the worst team at that time. So yeah, it happens. Like for me, it's kind of like the same thing. We tried everything we could to win. And in no moment we said like, okay, there's no way we can win. We were like, keep trying and trying and trying, and just it wasn't working.
Yeah, I think in our series in Tokyo Finals, first map Lotus, you guys destroyed us. But the first 5 rounds, I died first, and we were playing well together, but you guys still just stopped every single one of my peaks, even though I was playing with Util. And that was like the first time in my career that I got like destroyed mentally.
Really?
I felt terrible about myself those first 5 rounds, but my teammates could tell in my voice that I wasn't talking and giving like the hype that I normally do. So then they just told me like, don't worry about it and just go next. And then we ended up making the series pretty close and I fixed it. But that was one time in my career there it was like so bad.
If you're getting smashed on the first match, I think it's important to keep the mental at the right state for you to be able to play on the second map, you know, because like if you're, for example, we got wrecked by Fantech like 12-0, right, on Lotus. But I mean, like, those kind of games can destroy your mental, right? Yeah. But I think it's important to keep your mental state at the right position so that when you go to the next game, then you kind of like have kind of reset, you know?
Well, fellas, thank you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you guys letting me pick your brain. Best of luck to you throughout the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yo, Doug, you gathered the 3 IGLs, and then you didn't think we'd notice you snuck Devi in there?
Listen, that was his choice. That was his decision. He said, I want to be in this conversation. Let me in. So I had to let the guy.
The other IGLs are talking about like all of the prep they do behind the scenes, and PRX have talked about Forsaken being the person that like cooks the comps up and stuff. Devi's like sat there like, I
actually thought Devi's reactions to a lot of the questions were pretty fantastic. If anything, I was living through him.
Yeah.
That,
you know, it's funny how much we talk about how chaotic their playstyle can be. That was one of the things Devi talked about, because there are so many voices in around when things are chaotic that are trying to get input and trying to get involved that it can be really difficult. Devi was, I'm actually really glad he was there.
It is actually quite disingenuous that you didn't just get 4 of their players there to all answer questions.
That's true. If it was an ideal roundtable, it should have just been PRX's roster.
Just the whole of PRX, just all sharing one chair.
Oh, God. Well, excellent conversation. We learned a lot about our 3 IGLs and Devi. But of course, guys, we got 4 incredible teams left in this competition. And in today's MasterCard fan poll, we want to know, which team do you think is going to win it all? So is it going to be PRX, EG, Loud, or Fnatic? When you see the QR code thing pop up, just go ahead and scan that, and then we'll go ahead and show the results. There it is, later on in the show. We nailed it. And of course, don't forget to use the hashtags Valorant Champions as well as VCT, so we can feature your tweets and stuff on the broadcast or post. Or
who wins that? Who wins that poll?
Oh, the winner of the poll.
The people.
Surely Fnatic wins the poll.
The people win.
I think Fnatic.
They're still in the lower bracket.
The poll, it's about the poll. It's all about social clout,
bro.
Josh.
Dude, Fnatic don't have that social clout. That's Loud's all day long. That's Loud's all day long.
Actually, Loud might be, Loud might clear, actually, on
But if
second
it's being
thought.
posted in English, I feel like the Fnatic fans go crazy on Twitter.
You're looking into it too hard at this point. the time zones. Wilkinson, the time zones.
I mean, all it takes is just one guy to comment like just the Loud emoji. Just like anything green, and they're on that.
That's it.
Instantly.
It's
over.
It's in. All right, well, let's go ahead, though, and talk about some of the matchups we're going to be seeing here today, because at Masters Tokyo, PRX did not have something on the roster, but he is here now and is going to be facing off against Demon One. And Mimi, this is setting up, I'm going to you because I know you love these duelist clashes. It's setting up a war between these two, and I have no idea where things are going to land because they're both so talented.
It's interesting, the comparison between these two players, because for Demon One, right, he was at Tokyo, but I think he disappointed a lot of people. He was this ultra superstar in Americas, who in a lot of ways was the guy who stepped up and helped them make the run to make it to Tokyo in the first place. He wasn't as great at that tournament, but now showing up to Champions, it has been that Demon One that was exceptional in Americas. He's been great on the jet. He's also been flexing around other roles and playing just as well.
He's the best controller in the tournament now.
He's played a third of his time on controller, and he's the highest rated player in the tournament.
He's actually insane.
That's unbelievable.
And it's not just Omen, it's like he's locking in the Astra and stuff too, which is so hard to frag on. And on the other hand, it's Something's first tournament, and he is playing that full-time duelist role that people would expect from this guy. And I think it's been kind of back and forth, where we've seen moments where Something is that great player that pushed PRX over the line in Pacific, and there also has been moments where he's struggled a little bit. There's a lot of pressure on this guy for Champs to be his first tournament ever globally.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how these two players, their trajectory has gone. The beginning of this tournament for Something honestly felt a little bit like how Demon One looked at Tokyo. And we thought, is he going to arrive?
Honestly, I feel like at the beginning of every match, I feel like first quarter Something is not hidden. Like the nerves, he's talked about it in the press conferences. He gets a bit nervous. This big stage is another big test.
Yeah, it most definitely is. And look, we can continue to talk about, you know, the matchups, the individual matchups as well, but we got to get into what we're going to be seeing here broadly with PRX as well as EG. Now, the winner is going to be moving on to Saturday's grand final, which is important for both teams because here's the thing, neither has been able to walk away with an international trophy, but if you manage to get to that grand final from this pathway, you have a pivotal map ban advantage. Doug, we've seen how this has played out time and time before. It doesn't bode well for the person who's coming from the lower bracket. It will be an arduous climb for whoever's in that situation.
Yeah, and I think that's why you see so many teams throughout the year try to focus on having a 7-map pool. So that if you're caught in situations like this, you have some depth, because it is outrageously suffocating to know you're not going to be able to ban out your perma. You know they're going to target you with the second ban or get rid of something else that is really good for you, and you just find yourself down at the very beginning of the series. Going through this from the uppers is outrageously important.
I would agree. I think that both of these teams, though, have good map pools overall, and so it's not going to be as large of a disadvantage for one of the teams, but it's just a great position to be in, finding yourself in the grand final with a veto advantage. Yeah, you deserve to be there.
Couldn't agree more.
I think especially if you end up playing against a Fnatic who's had a permaban the entire tournament, who's also
fraudulent perma, by the way. They're bringing out Pearl at some point. I've seen it in the team leagues.
They're going to have it.
I mean, they'll have to. If they make it to the finals either way, there's no way they're going to have that advantage.
They're going to do it today.
You think today? It's just Pearl time?
It's happening at some point.
This man is losing his mind. If he doesn't see Pearl, I don't know what's going to happen in this place. But, you know, what's also exciting about this, though, is that these two teams did meet one another at Masters Tokyo, the lower final. And what's wild to think is that PRX nearly ended EG's incredible run, Doug, and it was with a substitute, CGRS, coming in. So it goes to show the firepower this team has.
Yeah, I mean, we can have so much of a discussion around how good are PRX because they were able to get that far with the sub who was like a Gecko one trick, I think was initially the play leading into the tournament.
Well, but he was he's a streamer. He's a Gecko player.
And he did fine. He did fine, but you're right. For them to get as far as they did, okay, fine was strong. I get it. I apologize. Fine was strong.
I want to pitch you on something.
Yeah.
It was fraudulently close.
You can't call everything fraudulent.
No. Okay. Let me explain.
The guy has his foil hat on. We haven't even started the matches, and you're already in conspiracy theory.
The maps where Evil Geniuses won were dominant. The maps where PRX won with their sub were close. So even though the overall scoreline was 3-2, I think the idea that you just plug in something and you're so much better and you dominate that series, I think is faulty logic. I don't think you can just track 1-to-1 like that.
But also that's just been the way EG plays their games. In so many of their series, when they've dropped a map, it's always been super close, overtime affair, something slips away from them. And when they're winning maps, it's been so dominant. dominant. I mean, EG has had, honestly, probably a pretty easy run through this tournament thus far. They've only had one series where they dropped the map. They've been dominating everyone, and that's not to say the teams they've played are bad. It's just that they're at a level right now where I don't think they've been fully tested.
Yeah, sorry. Also, are you suggesting that taking out CGRS and putting in something is not a substantial upgrade?
Did I say that?
I mean, kind of. In that series, what you alluded to was, if that swap happens, it's not a massive, like, one-for-one upgrade.
I think actually maybe even more important than that is just getting rid of Fracture. I mean,
nice. Really good way to skirt around that. Politician over here. That was very well handled. Guys, media trained.
Watch, I'm going to do this like a politician. Segue! For more on PRX, let's go ahead and send it over to Achilleos, who's actually got a quick word with Coach Alex. Nailed it.
All right, hello. Yes, I'm going to grab Coach Alex. Of course, Alex, if you wouldn't mind joining me, I have a quick question. So EG have said that their biggest secret and why they're so successful is that they're having more fun than everybody else. You're the guy who sat back in the control room. You can hear all the comms for the players. Do you think that's true, or is PRX going to have more fun today?
I hope we have more fun. I think it's definitely true. For maybe a bit similar, I guess. Both teams quite happy-go-lucky, so if there's pressure, it's a bit tense. Makes it a bit difficult to play.
All right, happy-go-lucky. I think that's the best way to put it, but thank you very much, my friend. Good luck today.
One thing for certain is that fun will be had today, but when you look at the bracket and where we are right now, oh boy, a lot of people weren't having fun on the road to the top four. PRX, EG, Fnatic, Loud. This is it. I mean, when you think about the entirety of the season sideshow coming down to this, you couldn't ask for four better teams to just represent the pool of talent that we have in this sport. And these clashes are going to be out of this world.
Yeah, they're going to be incredible. And if you want to